Hello, this is Everything Entertainment, and this is my Gameoverse review, which I'll talk about the three things I like about this video. That is the plot, the writing, and the characters. I'll be going over what I like in this first pilot, because as a whole, this pilot is really good. I really did enjoy every bit of it and the concept. If you don't want to watch the whole video, I'm just gonna summarize this video in one word. It was great, and I would like to see more. But if you want to get a more in-depth idea of what I think about Gameoverse, stay tuned to the video. That is all. Now, to get started, I will start talk about the plot. Now, to talk about the plot, and I want to make a joke of how the first episode is basically a little cat girl in a swimsuit for like 99% of it. But that'd be tasteless and not really funny. So I'm just talking about the plot of the story instead and actually focus on that. And how it's pretty crazy that it pretty much gain characters. If the hero beat the villains, their world gets destroyed, which that's a twist I have not thought of before or heard of, which is crazy because like you would think someone came up with the idea before, but frankly no one has, and I think that would make the episode or this pilot very good because it's an idea I never actually heard of before, and it's kind of crazy that in order for a world to survive, they basically can't end the story. The hero cannot win, which there's no point in fighting if the hero cannot win. I would say there's no point to the villains, but at the same time, if the villain lose, then they might as well have the world be destroyed. So yeah, the villains losing really doesn't really matter to them because if they lose, they might as well go out, uh, go down with the world as well because they're villains and they don't care. But the point is, this plot is very unique. I have not really seen this plot in a lot of other shows. And the last video game show I think I watched, I was gonna say Sonic Prime, but it's more like OKKO, which that show is really good. Too bad it didn't get as much episodes as it deserved. But anyway, the plot of this is really unique and really good to show you that a simple premise could go a long way. And honestly, the way the show is set up, it almost like the heroes are on the villain side and the villains is on the hero side. Well, less villain than the guy that popped up early up in the pilot. But yeah, I really did enjoy this episode and the plot, even though it's simple, it goes to show you the things where the heroes cannot win. And funny enough, I can see the irony in that. Like the hero wins and the world get destroyed. The hero lose, the world is saved, but they lose their purpose. There's a lot of ideas that the studio and the people behind the show could create with heroes losing because you see a lot of heroes usually winning or making sacrifices or not getting the perfect ending they hope and desire for. But in this show, I could really see how being a hero, even if you win, you still lose, which that irony at its best. So the plot simple but good, and I really did enjoy it throughout this whole pilot. Even even though the even though the plot is not the craziest, it worked for this show because if the show uses it right, it could be very heart destroying with certain characters. Like heroes not be able to beat their villains and take that to their core and just end up just sad. Even though that's the happy ending to the world and to the game itself, it is to the hero a nightmare and honestly a dishonor on their part. But anyway, I enjoyed the plot and I really want to make a joke about the plot, but I already said I won't. So yeah, plot really good in the pilot, and I really enjoyed this pilot and want to see more of it because this plot is pretty interesting. Now to talk about the characters are A tier to S tier to probably the lowest B tier. Like they're all good, even though I do have a problem with some of the characters. Like less about the characters and more about the writing, but I'll get to that later. At the characters, Kit is amazing. She remind me of Luz Nocetta from Narrow Health because she's not like as wild and as energetic as Luz in the early season. She feels more like early season two or mid season two Luz. Like I really thought she was gonna be a much calmer person, but she was actually way more like I don't know how to describe it, like sad. Like of course she's sad after her origin, but we see later she have like happy moments after everything that happened to the planet, and even now. So yeah, she remind me of Luz so much. Flappers, I don't have much to say about him. He's pretty good, pretty funny, nice addition. Like this was his episode, like his origin story. Even though Kit is the main character, this was like the pilot to introduce the four main cast. So yeah, he was good. Caboodle, if I remember right, Caboodle is the backpack, if I remember right. He remind me of Randy from I forgot the show, but Randy from Inside Out on Netflix that got canceled. Like, except he's much nicer. He just what his voice remind me of him, and I thought that was pretty funny. That oh no, Caboodle. Yeah, no, Caboodle is the jacket. I keep forgetting. I got him mixed up with someone else. The character I got him mixed up with was Gobbles. Gobbles was the best character of this episode. Well, not counting Kit, that is like the fan service character, but like the best assigned and main character Angie. Gobble, I loved his voice for something like small and cutest. He had like a really old man voice, and that was just hilarious. He sounded like Rick Sanchez, but like, less drunk and mean. It was just very funny. Like that he really was improving this episode. He really was being a learned source. So yeah, that was like the whole cast. The main cast that's moving forward is great. They're pretty funny when they're not cursing, and they work so well with one another. Now to talk about some of the villains, like misinformation, yeah, another attractive character. You know how she is. Like she's evil, she's attractive, she's mean to her somewhat love interest, Fold. Who Fold was a great character. He's funny. I think he was the funniest villain. And it was just good seeing them interact. They're not original, but they were funny interacting. And finally, Warwick, I think. Like Warwick, I think the main villain. Like I'm gonna talk about the shark. I'll go talk to shark, but I really don't remember. He was funny. He was funny, but I don't remember him on the top of my head. But talk about the main villain of this show. Yeah, he was also great too. The characters are all great. Writing aside, it was pretty good and pretty on point. Like, right, I have a problem with the writing, which I'll get to in a minute. But as the characters, they're perfect the way they are, and I don't really have anything to complain. I think they're all well rounded and work together as a group all by themselves. Yeah, the characters are great in this pilot. Now, to get to the last part of my point of this video, and that is the writing, which I do have a lot to say because, well, to go over the good. The good thing about the writing is I really like the characters. If you can't give me like the characters, I can't really watch the show. And so far, I'm pretty sure Gobbles was the best character. Like Kit is adorable. She's nice. She has her moments of anger, and she doesn't really think straight, especially in high pressure situations. Well, her backpack Kaboru is pretty much a jerk, like, and that's being nice about it. He's not really like the sweethearted character. Like maybe when he was on his planet, he was pretty much like the happy-go-lucky psychic character with like a bit of snickering moments here and there, but he always cuts, and he's clearly the. I'm almost if I have one more bad day, I'm done for this, and I'm just going through life a character. So yeah, the that how I pretty much describe the characters and how they're all written. Because So far, the biggest problem I have with the writing is the comedy. The comedy wasn't really that funny. Actually, the facial expressions were the best part of pilot, but when they try to make a joke, I didn't really laugh that much. I think the funniest joke to me was when the Flappers, yeah, Flappers said, "I never kissed a girl," and you just see his face, see their face, the reaction, like that was just pure gold. But the comedy didn't really hit that much for me, and I know comedy is a hit or miss with people, but to me, it just wasn't it. When they need to get emotional, they got emotional. When they want to take something serious, they got serious. And when they did a lot of creative things, they were creative. But the comedy wasn't it, and honestly, that's a letdown because this looked like the show that should have not good jokes, but be able to express their jokes. Like they should really push the mileage with the exaggeration when they can, because the facial expressions, like I said, was the best part of the episode. While the way the characters talked, like, was the worst part. Like seriously, cursing. Like, don't get me wrong, I can understand why they have the character curse, like in universe, because they are adults, they do swear and all that. But to me, it felt pretty unnecessary at times, and I don't know. It just feels weird. If they go to curse, they should keep it at a certain level. I was kind of shocked when they just pour out some words that I'm like, okay, I can understand why you said that, but still, just it's crazy that you said that. So yeah, that's pretty much my only problem with the writing is the cursing mainly, because it's not that they can't curse, but they shouldn't be cursing as much as they do. Like it's not bad, but it's like, oh man, that's just odd, really odd. So yeah, the writing in the show, if I had to give a rating, is pretty good, like a high rating. I don't know. I'm gonna wrap it up in the conclusion and give all my ratings as a whole out of 10 in the conclusion part of the video. But the writing is good, and honestly, I don't mind because they have some great jokes, mostly from the facial expression. And even though I don't think the comedy hits that hard, I am quite happy with what we did got, because honestly, the moments we got was better than the moments we didn't get. Like the moments of when the joke didn't land was painful, but not like hurtful. But when it got funny, and that's the best part of the episode. Honestly, the best moments of the episode when it was funny. Don't get me wrong, the last couple minutes of the seriousness was peak as well, but honestly, when they made the faces, that's my favorite part of the episode. So the writing was good as a whole, with some foreshadowing here and there, which they will get at episode one, or if this is episode one, at episode two soon. Since I already know by the time the video come out, we already seen them. The figurines are created, and honestly, I'm not shocked that this show is popular because as right now, the pilot was amazing. In conclusion, the plot is like an 8, the characters are like a 6, and the writing is like a 5. That seemed like a low score out of 10 because honestly, I it sounds like I hate the pilot, but I really did enjoy a pilot. I really enjoyed all of it, and I really did like the characters, the writing, and the plot, even though I did complain a lot of it. Because this project was really good. Like, it's not crazy. I do think if they get a series of episodes, since this is glitch, and as of right now, I think the most episodes one of their shows have is 8, not counting the digital circuits, which have 9. As I know, because I only watch the digital circuits and murder drones. So right now, if this does become a series, it most likely will get up to 9 episodes, probably 10 to 12, like any other anime random isekai show. Yeah, because honestly, I'm the figurines are already out. The views did good, and I already see a lot of people making fun of pretty much just Kit as of right now. But I really did enjoy this pilot. This pilot was really good, and I actually have some ideas of what could happen in the future, which I really want to see those. I want to really see my theory either come true or fail. But as of right now, all I have to say is I enjoy the pilot. It wasn't groundbreaking. We finally got the main cast together, and we got an interesting premise that honestly I'm shocked to have not been done sooner than before. If there is, please tell me about it in the comments. I would really like to know. But right now, all I have to say is this pilot was so good. I think I like this pilot more than Digital Circus and Murder Drones. Okay, probably not more than Murder Drones, but most likely more than the Digital Circus. So yeah, I really did enjoy this pilot. If you like this video, please like, comment, and subscribe, and have a good day.